Good morning.
Good morning.
We hope you're doing well. Today we are back here looking at absolute pitch. And you know, when you actually name a note, we don't use first names like Charles or
Kathy.
Travis.
Merle.
Merle.
I know Merle.
I know Merle Haggard and Merle Streep, or Merrill.
Merrill. I
And
knew-
Merrill Lynch. Anyway, forget that.
Forget that.
We are here naming notes. And when we name our notes, we use letters of the alphabet. And we start with A and we go to G. Once you get to G, you start over with A. Okay? We taught you a fancy little rhyme last time with your hand. So show me your mobile staff. Remember,
So-
we start with E, D.
D.
I'm sorry, E, G.
Ooh, ooh.
Let me get my brain in gear.
Right.
The first sentence I ever learned was, every good boy does fine.
That's what I learned too.
Every good boy deserves fudge. So do girls. But
Yeah, I was gonna say.
it's in that order. But we taught you a rhyme that uses both lines and spaces. So
Right, here we go.
remember that? E, G, B, D, F. These are the lines of the treble clef. F, A, C, E. That spells face. Don't you see? Learning spaces, learning lines. It's so easy when it rhymes.
And you know, you can make up your own sentence as long as the first word starts with E, and then the next one starts with G, and then the next one starts with B. My brain needs to get in gear too. And then D and F, okay?
So when you're doing your spaces in between your fingers, you're saying F, A, C, E. And when we worked on our worksheet last week, we had you writing down letters in capitals right underneath where that was. So if you were to write C, you need it to be right underneath here.
Right.
Make sense? Here is every good boy does fine.
Yep. And look, we have two E's
Oh, yes,
right there.
that's true. Okay, so now we are going to spell some words using our staff. So we're erasing. And Mrs. Lowry, why don't you do a few that are over there, and I'm going
Okay.
to do a couple here. No matter where we are still using the treble clef only, okay? So all of these absolute pitches are just for the treble clef. It's not for any other clef, okay? Oh, yes, okay. I think I'm going to do this. This looks like Baylor Bears.
Yeah, it does. Let's see.
Okay, so I'm gonna put a line here so that we know that we fixed that one. And then, let's see, I'm gonna use this one.
Oh, Miss Dobie's getting really hard. Ha ha! Ooh, I think we need to do mine first. Mine are easier.
Well,
Miss
mine are, oh,
Dobie.
that's not a very good line. Mine are not hard. They just
have
have
to
they're
count.
long.
They've got
Yeah.
to count.
You gotta be ready.
Yeah. All right, well, let's start with mine. Mine's easy. Okay, when we said the rhyme, the very first line was what letter?
E.
Okay, so there you go. Now this is the fourth line.
Every good
Every
boy deserves
D.
D.
Very good. And now this is the second line.
Every good
That's a
G.
G.
Oh no, this is on spaces. So
Yes.
F A C E.
Oh, look what we spelled.
Edge.
Good. Now let's look at this one. Can you see all of this one on the board?
Let me just move this over so that we can see it a little bit easier.
There you go. All right. So fourth line. E, G, B, D. That would be D.
D.
And then F, A, C, E. Ooh. Ooh, another space. F, A, F. What does that spell? Spells deaf. Very good. How did you do?
I bet you did really well.
All right, now we're going to move over and get Miss Stobie's. That second measure especially is really awesome.
Now, just because there are a lot of them up here, don't let that bother you. It's not that hard. You're going to use the same process that Mrs. Lowry just used. We're going to do the same thing. It is okay for us to have notes that are below or above the staff,
That's
and we'll
right.
tell you how to do that, okay? So here we are on the very first one. Let's see, we've got every good boy deserves. So that is a D. And then we've got the very first line, which is
E.
every. And then we've got F, A, C,
E.
E. Oh, D. That's
D,
weird.
E, Aw.
Oh, now this one is below the staff. So you're here on E. You have to ask yourself, what comes before E in the alphabet?
What would be right here?
A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Yep.
So this would be a D. Deed, as in a deed to a house.
Yeah.
Or a deed to a car. It's a legal document.
Document.
Okay, now I'm going to turn this a little bit because I want you to be able to see this really, really well.
Yeah, these little short little lines. We call those
Ledger
lines.
Ledger lines.
And it's all it is a short little line because we needed lines.
It's an
Below the staff.
extension. It's the
Yeah.
extension of the staff. So here, I'm going to show you a little trick. I told my in-person students, when they got their papers to work on their worksheet, some of them decided to do this. F, A, C, E.
And that's okay.
It is. It's no different than if you were learning the order of operations in your math class. If you wrote it down at the top of the page, then you knew what was coming next. So this is F, A, C. Now you already know your very first note name, which is C. Look at this.
Oh, there you go.
You know the next one, which is A.
Hey.
Now then, the next one is a little bit different. We have to work our way backward. We know this is E for every. We know from this past one that this is D.
Yes.
So D would be right here on the space. What comes before D in the alphabet? A, B, C. So C would actually be on the line itself. Then you have to ask yourself, what comes before C, which is B. Cab. Hey, are we finished?
Oh, no, but that is a word.
It is a word. It's like a taxi. All right, next note name. Every good boy.
There we go.
Got a B again. Cabab.
Cababa.
Oh, look at this. This one has
I
two
know.
ledger lines.
Ooh.
So we know from here that this would be C. This would be B in the space. So what comes before B? A.
Of course.
A. Look at that.
Yeah. Caba.
Cabba. Cabba.
Ray?
Cabba dabba doo.
Cabaret.
Cabaret. Oh, we don't have an R.
I know, no.
All right, now
Can't
we've
do
got to
that.
jump all the way to above the staff, and I'm not sure you can see that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch magnets because it's kind of hard to see that white way up at the top. Now I can see the red much better.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
So now I am above the staff, so we know every good boy deserves fudge. Now we have to go one note higher, which would be
G.
G.
Cabag.
Cabag?
Cabag.
Cab
Oh,
bag.
2 words. Look at that.
Cab bag.
Cabag.
Oh, no. Here we
Oh,
go.
there's one more letter.
First line. E. That changes everything.
Cabbage. I love cabbage.
I love cabbage too. I eat cabbage frequently in my salads.
too.
It's really good. Okay. I hope that you understand what we just did. Take your time by counting down. If you're going below the staff, you're going backward in your letter line. If you were going up the staff, you are moving to the right on your letter line. That's really important to remember. But in every case, you are going to be writing your letters directly underneath in these little spaces below, these little lines below. That's where you use your capital letters. So here's our question for you. Can you make up your own word
Yeah.
using A through G? Can
There's
you make
only
up
2
your own
vowels, so that if you're kind of limited, but be
Mm-hmm.
creative.
And you can't use deed, cabbage, edge, or deaf. You got to come up with something else.
Your own word.
I can't wait.
I know.
Because, man,
They may come up with some I've never thought of.
well, that's how I got cabbage. was
Really?
Last year, a 6th grader wrote cabbage. And I was like, that is so brilliant.
Fabulous.
I mean, that's wonderful. So let's find out what you write.
All right.
Have a good day.
Bye.